So I wanted to give a quick update on our flowers. Um, if you've been watching the YouTube channel, you know we did a video a few weeks ago about trellising flowers. Now you can see the importance of that, how tall these cosmos are, and trying to keep them staying upright with long straight stems and get ready to be cut. It's really important to keep your flowers going up, and the trellising is really important for that. We are kind of at a season right now where we are changing out our flowers. So the asters are done, the poppies are done, the straw flowers and status are pretty close to being done. They're kind of on their way out. We're still getting blooms, but the leaves are looking a little rough, and we're getting significantly fewer blooms. So for me, that just means it's time to get these out so we can get other flowers in. I've had a few people asking me, how long, if it was too late to put in summer flowers, and it's not. You can keep seeding things like zinnias, celosia, gomphrena, cosmos. Did I already say sunflowers? Probably through August, and still be able to get blooms before the first frost. You can look at your days to maturity and back calculate from your first frost, but I would also add in 2 or 3 weeks, maybe even 4 weeks cushion, because flowers are going to slow down as it starts to get cooler, and then also you want to have several weeks to actually harvest. So if you see above me, I took out the plastic, and we just have I think it's 40% shade cloth, so it's cutting out 40% of the light. That'll help keep these flowers cool, especially now, because these flowers are coming out and I'm putting in another round of flowers. So it's important to keep it cool while we're getting new stuff transplanted during the heat of this summer. So we do still have basil that's looking really good. The zinnias and sunflowers are looking really good. I'll show you those. So here are our zinnias. This is the Queen's Lime series, which they basically just have that lime color. There are some that are a solid green, some that are more of a orangey color and then fade to that green, and then some that are a pink color and then go to that green. And they're just really, I don't like saturated colors on flowers. Here's a red, that's really pretty. To me, like the saturated colors, which just means it's solid green or solid red or solid orange, is just kind of old-fashioned maybe. Some chickens. And I think the pastels and the lighter colors are just really popular right now, and it just gives more interest in my mind to a bouquet, because there's just so much happening in this one flower, versus if it was just solid yellow, solid red, something like that. It's just not as interesting, I don't think. Even the sunflowers, we're doing mixes of different flowers. So we're doing some that are a traditional sunflower yellow with a dark center, some that are white, some that are kind of a burgundy color with a black center, or white with a black center, white with a white center. And so that way they're just all a little bit different, and it keeps them really interesting. And so I transplanted these, I guess 3 weeks and 3 days ago. And you can see how tall they are already. I planted them 4 inches apart on 18-inch row centers, and these are the Pro Cut. And so I'm starting them every 2 weeks, and then the goal is to get basically 1 or 2 varieties every other week. Some of them bloom a little bit earlier, some a little bit later, so that way we still can mix, but we're getting kind of spreading out the harvest over the course of 2 weeks. So hopefully that works out well, and I will be hopefully doing a YouTube video all about sunflowers, start to finish, now that we have that whole process. So yeah, we're pretty excited about the shade cloth we got. I think that's going to help the blooms. One, the plants that we're transplanting now get established, or the things that we're direct seeding now get better established. And then 2, I think the quality on these blooms is going to be a little bit better. I'm eager to see, we got some rain coming this week. how the fabric works in the rain, whether it kind of helps to break up the big raindrops and diffuse heavy rains. So I'm excited to see if that will help, because sometimes, if you get really heavy rains like we get here in Arkansas, they can just pummel these flowers and take them down to the ground. So I'm excited to see how that works. So the poppies came out. We're gonna try some different varieties that we've learned about since we started these. They didn't really do what we wanted them to, so we're learning. That's the breadseed poppies. We're definitely gonna do Icelandic poppies over the winter. Breadseed poppies, we still got some kinks to work out. The celosia is looking really good, really pretty. Lots of different colors that match really well with the zinnias. And then lots of different options for the cosmos to get some interest. And then we have some filler. This is a Thai basil and a purple basil. We have an opal basil over there, and then some Dusty Miller that's still pretty small. And then Gumfrina, which is another really great filler. And greenery. The basil is awesome because one, it loves the heat, and then two, it works really well as both a filler, meaning just like airy flowers that take up space, think like baby's breath or something like that, because it has these flowers and it'll keep producing these flowers. But then it's also, got a lot of greenery too, so you can put it around the edge of the bouquet to help fill it out and green it up. All right, so I am in the homeschool room / dining room / seed starting room / farm planning room / family time room. Looking at my seeds for this summer planting. So like I said, there's still plenty of time to get stuff started. I'm doing some direct seeded things like green gold, which is a nice filler. Probably some wrinkly cress. I'm also starting some perennials right now. So things like money plant. This is from Redemption Seeds. Usually I'm using Johnny seeds for most of my stuff, or Floret for flowers. Some of my perennials I'm starting now because I want them to be able to grow in pots, and then I can plant them in the ground next spring, and then we'll get flowers on those second year plants. And that's for perennials. For my biennials or my overwintered flowers, I'm gonna start those a little bit later. So that's like bachelor button right here. I'll start those a little bit later into the fall. They'll grow throughout the winter and then bloom in the spring. Okay, so the sunflowers that I'm starting are primarily Excel. So it's super early, it's 50 days from seed to flower. And I'm finding that right now. It seems like every day they're just several inches taller. And what I'm doing is I'm pairing the Excel, which is the super early, with something that's a little bit later. This is 65 days. This is double quick, so it's a fully double. Fully double means there's petals all the way to the center of the flower. Or I'm interchanging a different one that's white with white petals with a white center and white petals with a black center, and that's white night and white light. So that way, this one, if I'm starting seeds every 2 weeks, the Excel starts to flower, and then the next week, the one I'm mixing in starts to flower. And if there's overlap, I can mix those two different types together, and it makes a nice little bouquet. So some other flowers that I'm looking to start right now is actually a late planting of dahlias. So these are a really cool, let's see, the variety is Sunny Reggae. I'm saying that right. And this is from Park Seeds. So it has a really nice, kind of sunset type look to it. So I think that would make really nice bouquets in September, October, early November, if these last till early November. We should have them in the tunnel, so we should get some, they should be a little bit later. And then once we're into the frost, we'll switch over to our dried flowers, or getting ready for Christmas, probably do wreaths and stuff like that. And so some of the flowers we're growing right now, strawflower, statice, gumfrina, some celosia, we're saving that in our shed to dry out, and our poppy pods that we were able to get, and we can save those and add those to flowers throughout the year. So with, adding second planting of our summer flowers, so we're doing sunflowers all summer, doing another round of straw flowers, another round of status, some more basil, second round of basil, second round of dahlias from seed. That'll take us through the summer. In the fall, we're starting our overwintered flowers. In the wintertime, we're planting our bulbs, so like tulips. We'll have poppies in the ground in the tunnels. And then wreath making will carry us through the holidays. So, with flowers, it doesn't just have to be it's hot outside, it's summertime, time to put zinnias in. You can be growing flowers year round, and you can be selling flowers year round. There's also some more snapdragons that you could start for a late summer planting. The main thing to look at is days to maturity. So right now, until the first frost, we have all of July. We're in zone 7B, Central Arkansas. So all of July, all of August, September, October, and then half of November. That's 5 months. Really, it's like, we'll say 4 months. We'll say we'll finish early. We get our early frost, 4 months. So it's 120 days. So if you have anything that's going to be germinating, that'll be at maturity in 60 days, like the zinnias or something like that, you could still have another 60 days of bloom time before the end of the season, which is really like most flowers kind of hit their peak after a couple months anyways. And some will only have a pretty short bloom window, some will be longer. Summer flowers tend to be longer. So I think that's plenty of time if you're still thinking about getting in a summer planting of flowers. Leave questions in the comments below. I'll try and get to those, and thank you for watching.